Guys, welcome to the episode of Into the West Comics. My name is Frank. Sonny is here.
What's going on, brother? Good to be back. How's your day treating you? I was like,
good.
Really excited to get that
in. Was that in the script?
Locked in there. No, it's not in the script. I just freestyled that.
All right.
How are you?
Freestyling. Uncle, what's your name? Hot dog, corn dog, Paul's here. Freestyle. Your hair is incredible, first of all.
It is. My two shirts are also.
First and foremost.
Oh, you're just gonna put it out there early?
Yeah.
All right. I was gonna say something later.
Hashtag Shirtgate.
Yeah.
Brother Marcus is here.
Hey.
You guys got all
good
the
evening,
shirts.
everyone. Yes, we do.
Hey.
Got the shirts.
Looking good.
And I met this guy last year. We've been talking a little bit back and forth. This year, this week is the 1-year anniversary of the release of his graphic novel. The book is called Savior, The Day the Devil Saved the World.
Yes.
He is the founder of Chump Magic, and he is the creator, writer, and artist of the Savior graphic novel. Please welcome our special guest, Cole Lemke.
Hey. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
Yeah, man.
Welcome on, brother.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Appreciate you taking time to come and hang out with us tonight. I wanted to ask you real quick: are you really into Satan? And what was the motivation? Where did this story come from? And how was the process of making this book? Because I know it took you a while.
Yes.
Yeah,
cool
it did.
book.
It took me a long time. First of all, I want to say thanks for repping all the gear. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wanted to show my appreciation because I am thankful. So I just thought I'd do that with sending you some goodies. So I'm glad you're all sporting it and having a good time.
Definitely appreciated.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, to get back to your question, I don't worship the devil or anything. I just thought it was funny. Yeah. I just kind of thought it was funny of taking like the ultimate villain and making him a superhero. But it was more than just being ironic, I guess, or just being goofy. Is that I always, every time I saw him, he's like this buff dude, but he also had fire and shadow magic, and I thought that was kind of cool. You don't see too many like buff mages, so I just thought it'd be fun. Like, whoa, what if we could temporarily make him a superhero? I thought, I just kind of had that idea initially, and this was actually a long time ago when I was living in Tahoe. So I must have been 2000, 2001, or 2002. Mm-hmm. And then the idea just kind of sat in the back of my head. I didn't quite have the idea of how you would make this ultimate villain become temporary good, because I wanted to be like reluctantly good, not just like changing sides. So yeah, flash forward a few years, and I was taking a painting class, and the teacher asked us to do an abstract painting. And I'm not too big into abstract. If you look at all my work, it's character driven. I love characters. I'm like the opposite of abstract.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's just not my cup of tea. So my whole goal was to do an abstract painting, get the grade. And then later I was going to do this little devil character I was working, little demon character over the background. So I wanted working with like a whole bunch of reds and stuff. So the whole idea was it was just going to be a background, this abstract painting. So I'm squirting it with water bottles, wiping it down with, rags and stuff like that. And as I'm doing this, I start seeing like little UFOs that appear to be attacking a city. And since I had the idea that I was going to do this demon character, that's when it all just like clicked. It just struck me
Snapped
like a
into
bolt of
place.
lightning.
That's
I
funny.
was like, that's how I'm going to do it. That's how I make this guy that's ultimate evil temporarily good. Is, you have this outside force come in and start messing up his like little pretty little system he has, which pisses him off. The aliens come from outer space and start stealing his precious little souls, which gets him all mad. He wants those souls, wants to, he's like Ash from Pokemon. He wants to collect them all,
Right.
So,
Nice.
so that idea hit me, but then it took me a long time to actually kind of get the book going. And flash forward like, several years later. Sorry about that. Flash forward several years later, and that's when I actually started working on the book and deciding I wanted to be kind of like this B-horror, cheesy. I used to watch, a whole bunch of just terrible horror movies. Like one of my favorite movies is Dead Alive. I watched that way too many times. My mom at one point had to, called up the movie store and she's like, stop letting them rent that. And it wasn't because it was, it wasn't because it was so gory. She was actually more concerned with my obsession of it. I had to show every friend of it. I must have bought it like 5 times, renting it.
That's funny.
Could have purchased it, at least 5 times. Sorry, at least 5 times. So when I was doing the book, I kind of wanted to throw a whole bunch of stuff at people, that you'd find in, B-horror. So, and I didn't choose to do this. If there wasn't like a reasoning for it, I wouldn't have done it. But I kind of wanted to have the wild stuff, so I incorporated like the zombies and the mutants and all that stuff. But it's not thrown at you just for the sake to throw it at you. It does play a huge role in the story. So I try to use logic and reasoning, and not just because I feel some B-horrors fall victim to just being ridiculous for the sake of being ridiculous.
Right.
And some pull it off. It's not make or break, but a lot of times it doesn't quite do it. So I tried to make sure that I was doing all this wacky, weird, fun stuff, but at the same time, it all serves a purpose, and just try to get as clever as possible with it.
Right.
I love it because every time I flip through the book or look through like some of the stickers, I'm just like, this is so out there and wacky, but I love every single design of everything that I see.
It feels like something I would watch on Cartoon Network back in like the early 2000s, and I like love it. It's awesome,
bro.
Thanks. Yeah,
I have
do
these
always
everywhere.
How long did it actually take
that's
you?
probably what I'm. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead. Finish
I
your
was
thought.
just going to say, that's probably what I'm best known for is the stickers, because I've been doing those for a while. I work with a company called Sticker Robot. I love those guys. They
Nice.
actually screen print the stickers. So at one point I was actually in Hot Topic stores across the U.S. in Capitola, Capitola's Lickitung, Canada. And so that was pretty cool and wild and unbelievable. So I'm probably like best known for my stickers. So this book is my first entryway into the comic world, even though I've been doing art for a long time.
Wow. And it's a strong one too. How long did it take you to actually do the book from like start to finish? Like how many over the course of years? What, because I mean, every page, having read it, every page I can tell there's love in it. You've actually put your heart and soul in this, because it's a very thorough, fleshed out story. The art is amazing.
Art's awesome.
All the details.
Thank you.
Yeah, all the details I really like. Like, for example, you have like the onomatopoeias. They're kind of in a lighter font. So like grumble, 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 and scream, and then you have the dialogue and like halfway between clear and faded. And then you have like the narration in the deep, boxes that, is more traditional. So all those little details, and then, just working it through, it's very, very,
Very well done.
Yeah. I mean,
attention to detail.
Thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
And I respect that, really. So how long did it actually take you?
Yeah, I want to say I started in 2017, like really getting serious with it.
Okay.
But like I said, I mean, I guess the idea was, way back when it kind of first started. But yeah, when I really sat down and started working, it was probably a good 5 years. And then the print process actually took, because I was new to it too, and I made a lot of mistakes. I should have started with a lot smaller book, because if you make a mistake on something that's 300 pages, you got to do it 300 times to fix it, so there's simple mistakes where, you take 5 minutes to fix, but then it's 5 minutes times 300. So it really adds up to like, that's like day and a half. So it's amazing. I didn't expect the printing, but going forward, there's definitely a lot of changes I'll make. But yeah, I mean, that was one of my gripes, or one of the reasons that actually inspired me to get into comics. Is I was like, well, why does anyone do really like fine polished artwork? Sometimes it's really loose, and yeah, there's a reason for that. It takes forever.
Yeah.
And I've been watching some videos too, because I was seeing is there any efficient ways to speed stuff up? And because people made the same mistake that I did, but actually I don't regret it. I think I look back at it and I go, I don't know. I was like, I kind of want to speed it up, but at the same time, it's like I'm so proud of how it came out that I don't know if I want to kind of loosen up a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's
It'd
part
be
of the
hard.
journey.
So it's but yeah, I would say a good 5 years, and then 6 years just kind of doing final edits. Or there's a local writer here. He owns a comic shop too, and he was telling me, no matter how many times you read it, you're gonna find there's just gonna be one typo that goes through.
Right.
And that cursed me. I read the book probably like 300 times just to make sure, or try to make sure. I mean, I don't know if one slipped by me, but I've read this book more times than I would like to be honest. Yeah.
So that, sorry, Marcus, that kind of leads into our next question is just on like a smaller level. How long does it take you to put together a panel or a page and the outline? How much time do you spend on, because it's obviously it seems like probably more time than the average comic book artist spends on a panel or on the layout, because you see, like Marcus said, all the care and just how like dynamic and awesome it is. It's really like, I don't even know anything to compare it to. The like I said, 2000s Cartoon Network Billy and Mandy vibes is what it gave me.
Yeah.
So just how long does it take you to put together a panel and draw the images?
Yeah, well, at one point, because I do work, so usually I was doing about 2 pages a week, but without that, I was probably around 4 to 5 a week if I was able to hunker down full time, and that's including kind of like the sketch, because it was kind of weird. My process for this, all except for the last chapter, is I just did 2 pages at a time, kind of focusing at the 2 pages of the book that would show, because I was using an ink wash and I wanted the 2 pages that you're at least looking at to be similar, because the wash is never going to be exactly the same value. I mean, close enough, but so I'd work on 2 pages at a time. So I'd sketch 2 pages and then ink the 2 pages and then actually do the dialogue for the 2 pages. So it's kind of weird. I did, and then I know that's probably not the proper way, but that's just how I was kind of doing it.
You got
to do it.
Yeah. It's your baby.
Part of that was kind of maybe like a little bit of insecurity or lack of confidence, because it was like, I don't know if I can pull this off, so I just don't want to get too invested. And so I started off slow, and then I just kind of kept that pattern of, even though I was getting deeper and deeper, all the way up until finally the 5th chapter is where I sketched out the whole chapter first, and then just went to the inks, and then just went to the words, and did it probably more traditionally to what I assume other comic creators do.
What's the first character that you like got attached to, or maybe drew or created, that actually stuck to everything? Because I'm all stoked. I think I have all the stickers on something so far at my house, so I just want to know, like, what was the first character that you did?
It would probably be actually Grump, the devil. His name's Grump in the book. Just because that was kind of like the whole idea from the get-go. And then the Jazz, the robot, I've been drawing that kind of character for a long time. And then since then I've seen kind of similar ones, and I was like, should I change them? And I was like, no, I gotta keep it. Yeah. But it does kind of bum me out when you're like, oh, it's almost like identical, but it is kind of like a pretty generic and bland. He's like the old 50s kind of robot. But I used to do it more stubby, and then this one's more elongated. So you could say I've been drawing that guy for a long time, but it wasn't the one you actually see in the comic. It wasn't really, I didn't have the name for him or anything. It was just kind of a character I doodled. And then, Boopy was probably last, but I drew her. The first time I ever drew her was with the gas mask. And it was funny, and so that kind of inspired that whole, idea of like the aliens, like, instead of bleeding, they release gas, because I was like, I want to keep that gas mask in there.
You're like, that
A
looks
little
sick.
bit of character design played into the story of just kind of, I designed this character, and she had the costume too, and that kind of inspired. So it's weird, like her character design inspired like a lot of the major concepts in the story, which is kind of cool.
That's rad.
That's awesome. And having worn a gas mask in my previous line of work, I will say they do stink. So that's very Oh man.
Yeah, it's funny actually too, because my mom was she's helping me proofread it, and she's like, "Oh, you must have wrote this because of COVID, because she doesn't like wearing her mask anymore." I actually wrote that, but I think I did write that before her, so it was just kind of knowing that, it was like already knowing that, just having that sweaty thing over your face for long periods of time is just annoying. Yeah.
And then you gotta smell your own breath if it ain't good.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely. So as far as like inspiration, because I mean, when I read it, I picked up on a lot of different vibes. You had the very, it had like a very newsreel sort of kind of like black and white, kind of like comic strip feel. You had the, kind of like it, but it still had heart, so it was kind of like bone with the heart. And then you had like Usagi Yojimbo sort of like playfulness with the way you did the skulls and things like that. And then the raunchiness of like a Rick Remender doing, scumbags, I'm thinking,
Yeah,
and I mean,
good.
it's just kind of like you had all this. That's why it just, I said this in a DM with you, like it just checked all the boxes for me. The dark humor, the playfulness, and the contrasting themes, with that regard. Like, so were any of these people that I mentioned just now, were they inspiring this?
No, I would say I'm kind of obscure with my collection. I would say probably the one that most people know is The Tick. I remember I collected that a lot when I was a little kid. There's another graphic novel that I had when I was younger called Fat Ninja. Yeah, that one was funny too. I remember I picked up the page and it's like, oh, he's a master of disguise and he's hiding behind this like thin little tree and you can see 90% of him, and he's a master of weapons and he's you see his nunchucks wrapped around his feet and he's doing a face plant. And so I don't know, I was always kind of drawn to silly stuff like that. But yeah, I kind of wanted, like, actually initially too, because if you look at the print, it kind of looks aged, but I actually wanted to do like the old, what is it, from the oxidization where it turns yellow, like in the old comics.
Oh, okay.
I really wanted to do that, and I thought that would be cool. And I even got paper where I printed out like test prints on like yellowish cardstock, and it looked really good. But when the price came down to it, they're like, oh yeah, we can do that, but here's the price. You're like, oh, I guess we'll just go with off-white, because it's way too much. But I just kind of like that old style when a comic aged. I just thought it had a cool look, so I almost wanted it like you're getting this new comic, but it looks like it's been around for 50 years,
Yeah.
Right.
And, but yeah, sadly, I'm familiar with every name that you mentioned, but I guess I would say I haven't really read any of those.
Okay.
I would say kind of like maybe the raunchy aspect comes from, anime where you have the old creepy guy, the creepy
Master Roshi.
Master Roshi.
Yeah, Master Roshi. Yeah. I think Desert Punk was another one, and Ranma 1/2, of course.
Nice.
So I think that, because I always got a kick out of that. I don't know why. It's so unnecessary, and
funny.
sometimes it's like in the heat of the battle where it's like there's no place for that in the heat of a battle. But
Jiraiya.
yeah, and well, I say too, a lot of my artwork is inspired. I grew up in Santa Cruz, so if you're familiar with the Screaming Hand, that was around all over when I was a little kid. So the bold kind of lines, like that's something that's just stuck with me since I was. I can't get away from it. It's like so ingrained for me since I was a little kid. It's just I've tried to walk away so many times, and when I'm sketching with pencil, sometimes I can get something that looks more like a traditional comic art. It's thinner lines, a lot more action lines and stuff like that. But the second I ink, it always goes back to just thick, bold. It's just in me, and I've even tried. I've explored a lot of times, just saying, let's try something different, and it's just always. I don't know. I guess it's just my comfort zone. And I'm not willing to learn something new.
It's your thing.
Hey,
Yeah, it's your
Sorry.
definitely.
you're good at it.
Yeah, at such a young age that yeah, because all those designs were actually popular, you know, in the when I was a little kid, and then they kind of disappeared for a little while.
Right.
Because they were all part of NHS, which is here in Santa Cruz, which had a whole bunch of different brands. Well, they still do, like Independent and Preacher and all that stuff. And then eventually they all kind of became Santa Cruz icons, like the Screaming Hand and Keith Meek Slash, which is that little guy on the, you know, the dagger deck and his tongue's all hanging out and all that fun stuff. Yeah.
Do you have any graffiti background or anything? Because I feel like with all the characters and the bold letters, it just I used to like tag back in the day, so I'm still super way into graffiti culture, you know. So I'm getting the vibes. You said Santa Cruz, the mention with the hand and everything. I don't know.
I would say, well, I never like tagged myself or something, but I guess kind of like a little poser-ish.
Yeah, same.
yeah. There was a clothing line. I don't know if it was national or anything, but it was called Breakdown. And I remember that, like kids at my high school, I just was on fire. And I've had trouble seeing it, so maybe it was a local dude that was putting it out. I really don't know. But in junior high, but it's, you know, kind of stereotypical kind of graffiti characters with the big shoes, big hands.
Yeah.
You know, big Adidas with the fat laces, you know, and the sweatshirt I had this forever too. And I wish I didn't get rid of it because you know, it was like 9 sizes too big when I was a little kid, but that was kind of the trend back there. You had all the baggy clothes and looked weird now, but it's weird. Yeah. That it still fit till I was an adult, but yeah, it was a guy holding an 8-ball that was a bomb. So he kind of had that, you know, that tagger pose where his, you know, heels are together, sticking out, and then he's, you know, holding it in the foreground, and it was a 8-ball bomb, and, you know, he just had a cap and like the thick eyebrows, and yeah, I don't know. So I would say that, yeah, that had an impact because I always liked those characters, and I do like graffiti characters. I was not so much into the text base, but I always liked the characters. And there's certain spots, like I remember someone did Darth Vader like underneath a trestle. And it was there for many years, and you know, as you're driving by as a little kid, you always made sure to like look up and spot. Yeah. So, and then there's just certain characters around town. But yeah, I was definitely drawn to the character style because it was kind of like this cool. Yeah, it always had big feet, big hands. I don't know. I liked it. Yeah.
Sick. Good question, Paul. That I asked. That you laughed at.
The question wasn't what I laughed at. It was I used to tag when I was a kid, like everyone at the table didn't already know.
Oh, I was talking to our guest.
He knew too.
Feel like that kid did graffiti. I used to like on friends' backpacks. You know, I'd like do names and stuff.
Closest I got to
I did not know that, but
I did the little
I guess it's to say guess.
No, you did. It's okay.
Makes me want to go to LA and go to that tower that they've tagged.
And it's amazing. I
see if Sonny's on there.
I have a ton of friends that were up on there.
That's great.
Seriously.
Wow.
Seriously.
That's great.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was a big
cool,
trend. At least when I was in junior high, everyone kind of tagged up their backpacks.
Yeah,
binders.
that's true.
Yeah. So I just say it's a safe guess at some point that if you like art, you did like one little
I'm so glad you feel valid.
Thank you. I do.
I think the detail too. I think as far as the characters go is ridiculous. Like the love comes across on the page, and this is really like it's a passion project. But I mean, it's like a period of time for you that you got to see it sort of evolve. Did the story change as you were going along, or did it always kind of you kind of had like the same plan as far as what you're going to do and how it was going to play out, or did it kind of evolve as you went?
No, I mean that's kind of you know, I don't know. I'm very passionate about endings, and so I personally, for me, I probably wouldn't start a book until I have an ending for it. So I had the story laid out, at least the timeline of you know how things were going to occur, and there's definitely things that shifted, but nothing in the major overall, especially not with the ending. But there's pieces that I didn't quite have figured out yet. So I would say there's some shifts. The biggest shift was the beginning of chapter 4. I remember that was like, because some of these pages were hard to work on, so I was doing my best not to have to recreate anything. And that was the one section where I had to actually ditch a few pages because I was kind of trying to cram like a mini series like into the beginning of chapter 4 where all these different events happen really quickly. and then I was like, no, that's, if you want to do that, I should have just done that to begin with instead of making a graphic novel, draw out the series. You can't just throw like a mini series in the middle of a graphic novel. Well, I mean, someone probably could. I mean, but it just didn't feel right with this book. Yeah, I guess to answer the question, the overall story was pretty much set in stone, but there's different areas where I didn't really have it completely figured out, or I thought I had it figured out and it didn't quite work. And so then I had to just kind of wing it on the fly. I remember the hardest parts for me were like the transition. Like I had everything laid out in the timeline of, okay, I know I want these characters to end up here, but how do we get there? So that area probably was the areas where I kind of fumbled around the most and had to rewrite and kind of, do stuff on the spot.
So when I saw you up there in Portland, I was with the Variant. We were up there, and the first thing that sticks out to him, he goes, "Look at those stickers! Like, look at the creatures he's got like over there on the stickers there." And I said, "Well, let's go check it out." And we started rapping with whatever else, and he's like, "It's a story about the devil saving the world." It's called.
Jonathan's like, I want more.
It's called Savior, and I was like, and I said, oh, all right. So I started flipping through a little preview thing. This was the first chapter. This is what Cole gave me when we were up there,
nice,
at Rose City, and then Jonathan goes, oh, well, I'm going to get the whole thing. I'm going to pick up the graphic novel.
Yeah,
and I said, sweet. I said, let me borrow it when you're done. He didn't. And then he read it
about right,
Jonathan.
So that sounds about Jonathan. So then I was telling Cole, I said, I love the first chapter.
Super sick.
I said, I'm waiting for Jonathan to still send it to me so I can read the rest of the book. And then Cole's like, well, I'll send you a copy. And this is the effect that you had. Okay, Cole. I was handing it around to these guys. Marcus 2 days ago ordered his own copy. He got it today, and he brought it down here.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
We've been talking to we've been talking to LCSs about it and everything else. I mean, it's really cool, and it's a different thing. It's not something that's coming out of the main two. I mean, it's
very refreshing.
It's comedy. It is horror. It is graphic. I love all the big letter splashes of any noise or effect that's communicated. Squirt, stuff like that. I love all this stuff, man. And
Frank squirts.
My gosh, I thought you were just gonna skip over that. And I love it, and I think you just did a great job with it, man. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the quality is definitely unmatched.
You.
I mean,
the production quality.
For anybody that can't see this, look at how pretty. Details.
Yeah,
little details.
Attention to details.
Yeah, I kind of, even though I don't, I tried to stay clear of religion because I know that's sensitive for a lot of people, but I am using a religious character. I thought it'd be fun to have it look like a Bible.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I remember when he told us that.
Yeah. So,
Very
and
cool.
then I was going to do, like it's usually red or gold, but then they're like, we have a black option. And I was like,
black on black, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the gal who did that is Printlore, and I highly recommend them. It's her company, and it's just a service, and it might cost more because you're using her to do everything. But for me, as working and stuff, I couldn't really communicate with factories and stuff, and she just made it super easy. I just put in the order. I said what I wanted. She nailed everything that I requested, like the age paper and the texture, and she just nailed everything perfect. And then it just showed up at my door in the truck.
Phenomenal.
And I was like, wow, awesome.
It's definitely crazy.
Great experience. And if you can do logistics and go to a factory, maybe that might be a better option because it's cheaper. But for someone like me, that was hands down 100% worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a badass, nice book.
Yes,
like, straight up.
I mean, literally, like when I saw it, I thought it was something like from Boom Studios or Image or any of the bigger guys who are more, known for these really
it's stellar.
These really handsome, hardcovers. So that man, kudos to you for that. That's great. And to her and her company,
everyone involved.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's the one thing I didn't do. Everything, I can take credit for, but that one, her printing was top notch, and she nailed every request. So I just opened it up and I was like, damn, this is perfect. And I don't say that often, actually. I'm pretty hard on myself. So yeah.
And to say the fact that you mentioned that you did do a little reshuffling, I didn't feel it at all.
Yeah.
There was nothing in the story that jolted me one way or the other and made it feel like it was some sort of like disconnect in any way. It all just
cohesive story.
Yeah, it was very cohesive. It just flowed very well, and it felt like it was just one big strong idea you had from the first page. So yeah, I mean,
I think that was the benefit of because there was a long gap before I had the idea.
mhm.
So I just had, I mean, I was constantly, I mean, actually, to be honest, I never wrote a script for this graphic novel. I mean, there's areas where I wrote like the in between areas where I struggled.
Right.
I would write, you know, the dialogue and script for that. But because I had so many years to think about it, when I was going page by page, I really just didn't have a script. I knew where everything was going. And so I think the fact that I wasn't able to work on it right away and I was able to sit and let it marinate and really think of the ideas, that actually worked in my favor, because I always kind of beat myself up about, oh, I wish I started this sooner, you know, like, oh, I released my first, you know, book when I'm 40, you know, that's a huge delay. But I'm actually glad, because I think it really helped out just being patient and really
Absolutely.
thinking through ideas. And
Sure.
so yeah, it's kind of a weird, it's like, oh, I wish I got an earlier start, but then I know for a fact this book wouldn't have been as good as if the second I had the idea, I just started putting paper to pen and start hashing it out, because I think it was, because I'll probably, to be honest, I don't know if I'll ever have another book like this, because I don't know if I'll ever be able to sit and think so much.
Yeah.
Have the time to do that, because I'm already working on my next one, and you know, I put far less thought into it, so I'm like, there's no way it can be as good as something I think about for 15 years.
No,
however long it
don't
took.
say
It
that.
felt
Don't
like-
say that. No. It's gonna be good, just as good, if not better.
Well, now
That's
you have all
yeah.
the experience of
Yeah.
putting it together
Absolutely.
and knowing what that
Connections, what
takes.
it's gonna
And
look
instead of
like.
worrying about, well, how much do I need to get done this, which I'm sure you're still worried about, but I mean, you won't have to be as concerned with, can I get this done? Because, well, I have gotten it done before.
Right, you've done it
Absolutely.
You might,
before.
Right.
you may have more mental capacity to think of things in the moment and on the fly than you did with this. So, nothing. This is your baby. I'm sure it's the very first thing you've ever made. Nothing's ever going to touch it, especially in your eyes. But as we sit here, there's no reason you can't write something that's
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
quality
Yeah,
of
man.
this
Yeah.
again. Like, don't let yourself believe you couldn't.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
absolutely.
Speaking of this other project, Cole,
Yeah.
that you'd be working on,
Kind of just
Yeah.
went over that a little bit.
can you give us any insight as far as
what can you tell us?
what
we want to know.
might be happening?
Well, yeah. So actually, this, I mean, originally Savior was going to be my second book, and I wanted to start off with a whole anthology of shorts and kind of just do kind of like, you know, smaller scale stuff. But I, you know, the ideas just kept rolling into a point where I was like, I just have to get this out of me. But initially, my first book was going to be a series of just short stories, an anthology, kind of just random, you know, nothing really related, just having fun and trying it out, and maybe working on different styles or different options, or, you know, one will be just pen and ink, or one will be color, and just try different things. And then I just have a whole bunch of not good stories, but short story ideas where
Right.
Good
I
stories.
don't think they'd work as well in a long story. Like I always look at, do you guys ever watch Kids in the Hall at all?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
A little
I'm
bit
not
Yeah, it's
back
like
in the day.
it's, you know, it's like Saturday Night Live, but a little more goofier. It was on Comedy
Mm,
Central in the
okay.
90s and stuff like that. But they always get praised for their endings, and I think their endings are great too. But they're only really good for like a short story. Like if it was a long movie, you'd be like, well, that was a very disappointing ending. Or especially if it's like a huge series, you know. Like, so they have a lot of great endings, and I feel like I have a lot of great endings that will really only work for a short story. So, anyways, long story short. I was gonna do squeeze that in, a series of short stories. So the next book I want to hopefully work on is an anthology of
Nice.
just random
like that.
ideas, you know, kind of quick and to the punch, and kind of exploring new techniques and stuff like that. So that was actually my original first idea before I started Savior, but then Savior just got bumped because it's weird. It's almost like a curse. It's like once you have a good idea, it's like you have to get it out. It's like you have good gossip and you just need to tell the world. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's weird. So the more it sits in there, the more I wanted to get it out. So it just kind of ate at me for a long time. And I was like, okay, all right, scratch the plan. We're doing this. And then I do have one more story after that. And then that's all I have in my brain at the moment. So, so at least hopefully people are going to get 3 stories out of me. One's an anthology, and then there's another one. Hopefully that will follow that.
Well, we're excited for all of them. For
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that anthology format, that might be a good way to kind of explore yourself and see, you know, you're doing like, let's say 2 or 3 different little short stories, and then one might just kind of grab you a little more than maybe the
Yeah.
other. And then you're like, you know what, maybe I got something here. Let me try expand on this world or whatever you got going on, or, you know, whether it's a different style, you know, art wise or storytelling wise. And then next thing you know, you're, you know, 10, 15 issues into something, you know, or another graphic novel, what have you. So absolutely, that would be really cool. Yeah.
100% agree.
I'm
Nice. Yeah.
interested now.
I definitely
Yeah.
want to try to keep.
I'm like, he was dancing around and he's like, oh, I do have more, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm like, all right. Understand.
Respect.
Respect.
He's done better than most of us not
Oh.
getting stuff out of him.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Philip Kennedy Johnson's
Philip
like,
Kennedy
"Whoa!"
Johnson's ready to be like, well, you know, I like my job with DC and Marvel, but I guess I could tell you guys everything.
Yeah, that does happen.
It does.
It's happened more than once. Very grateful for that. I'm curious. Does anybody have a tattoo of one of these characters yet?
Yeah. The banana squid for sure.
Okay.
That's kind of my one hit wonder. People seem to really love that one. And I think it's gone viral a few times.
Oh,
Well, I know
wow.
it has on Instagram, but I think before that, because I saw it must have been on Pinterest or something that I'm not too familiar with, but I know I put it on Society 6, and I think they put it on Pinterest because a lot of people were just hitting me up like, oh, I finally found the artist that did this, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even know it was out there, you know. Really, it's like I thought you know, you'd only see it if you came to me, kind of thing. But then there's a pretty popular Instagram dude or artist named God, what is it called? Oh, I can't even remember. Jack of the Dust or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he shared the banana squid a long time ago.
Oh,
And
sweet.
that gave me like a massive bump, and yeah, it was pretty
Nice.
nice. So yeah, that one for sure. And then yeah, other people have gotten various designs. Actually, my buddy growing up has a tattoo parlor, and we stock the stickers in there. And I say, hey, if anyone ever wants to get one, they can feel free. Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was gonna be like, "Whoa, yo, no one's gotten a tattoo," and I was gonna be like, "I want to get one," and you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's so cool!" But you know, maybe I'll just get in line.
Well, if you get one, send me pictures.
Oh, of
But
course.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always glad to see the pictures.
If you get it on your
Super stoked
forehead,
on it.
you'll probably be the first to do that.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah. No one's got the face tattoo.
No one's got the face yet.
No.
There you go.
I'm running out of room already.
Man,
So
Cole, don't give him no ideas.
no,
man.
seriously,
This is a known graffitiist.
I'm a known graffitiist.
I know.
A known graffitiist.
Yeah.
You sound so old.
So with like
Yeah.
I'm sitting here as we're talking, I keep looking at these stickers and I'm like, man, they're so awesome. Especially, you know, since have you ever with Savior, have you ever even thought of maybe doing a colorized version of the book? You know, because these colors that are
Yeah.
being
The
used,
colors look
like-
awesome.
the
Colors
look
are coloring.
Yeah, they're-
Colorings are coloring.
the colors are phenomenal on the sticker. So I'm just kind of curious as to what
That little
a
Reaper dude?
Savior,
Little pregnant Reaper?
in
Yeah.
color would look like.
cool.
Not to say that I love the black and white. This is like,
Oh, yeah.
this
Oh, yeah.
is like no.
That's the money. That's
Yeah,
the money.
yeah,
But you know, like
I'm kind of curious now. It
like a
has me
friends and
curious.
family version. You know.
I'm curious if you've ever thought of
Oh.
floated that idea around.
Yeah, well, not really. I mean, it probably wouldn't have the same look because I did everything with ink and wash for Savior, where those ones, the stickers, I usually ink by hand, and then I scan it in the computer, and then I color it digitally. So it's a lot smoother in the colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think if I was to color without completely, just taking the line, I'd have to kill all the wash, I think, to get the same look as the stickers.
Right.
So it kind of still have a rougher texture because you could still put the layer on multiply and color underneath it.
Mhm.
But it would have all the grains and all the texture, and it wouldn't be as like solid colors like my stickers. There'd be, millions of little different colors within. So it kind of have a different look just from kind of like the setup. But no, I haven't really thought. I guess I've had the idea, but I keep kind of canceling it because I'm like, no, that's kind of the way I wanted it, was a black and white,
Right. Right.
old kind of, I just wanted the age look to it in general, like, or I was talking about earlier, the oxidization,
Mhm.
oxidization. Yeah, just having it kind of just feel just kind of dated, even though it's fresh and new.
Right.
Well, you were kind of thinking about this process for years and years before all this thing came together, the characters and everything, as far as this world building. Before you got to this process, it took a long time. You're probably a kid back in the day. Let me think back. You were probably a kid on Saturday morning watching your favorite cartoons.
Right.
You got your bowl of Cookie Crisp.
Or Lucky
And
Charms,
you're checking
right?
out your favorite cartoons, and you may have hunkered down to check a little thickness with Miss Rogue.
They nerfed her.
And X-Men,
they
I
did.
saw that. They got her on,
They nerfed her.
she's on Atkins or something. She's
going vegan,
this past week, they showed the first official trailer
Yes, they did.
for a new look at X-Men 97 that's going to be exclusively on the Plus, coming very soon.
Yes.
I think in March. I think it's going to be on the Plus.
I think it is in early March, I believe.
That was phenomenal.
That was a really good segue that you
Yeah.
did, by the way. I had to clap.
That was phenomenal.
It
A
felt
plus.
for a second like I was just like an old guy. I was just like, what am I
You're just
doing?
reminiscing
Dave-
on the better times.
I was just thinking about Cookie Crisp cereal.
Sleepy Joe.
You were just sitting there
I
just
just-
thinking
let-
about Cookie
Let me
Crisp.
tell you this.
We were talking about this comic, but I really like cereal.
And we're coming
Anyway,
coming
sorry, we're
together.
derailing. As
So
we
we're
do.
going to check out the X-Men 97 trailer.
Watch the series finale of X-Men
Whoa.
next Saturday
Already
morning.
love it.
Check your local listings.
Oh yeah.
I'm grateful to have the chance.
Starting
to
off
say
where the
goodbye.
series ended.
I am proud of you all, my X-Men.
Yes.
Fate lies in our hands now. Now.
The final scene. Yeah. The last season.
Most iconic intro song.
Woo! Look at how clear that looks.
We have to stay vigilant. The professor entrusted us with his dream.
Same voice actors. Sounds like it.
No matter how dark it is, we must believe in each other.
We get this done by working together as a team.
Jeez, Bub, keep buzzing in my ear.
Heads up!
Yes. Bro. Yes.
To me, my X-Men.
Oh, what?
That's his Avengers Assemble.
All right. Stealing Professor X's line. Yeah.
Magneto.
The last will and testament of Charles Xavier.
I don't like his voice.
Everything he built now belongs to me.
It's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. Magneto's gonna do it right.
I don't know if I liked his voice though. That was kind of weird. no?
Yeah. It wasn't like Charles. Charles. You know, it didn't have the regalness. Yeah, there.
I need some Regal.
Cole, what'd you think of the trailer?
I liked it. Yeah, I'm huge on cartoons, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm a sucker for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope Jubilee just has two lines and they're important, and then she like falls into the background. I don't like her.
They
She's
changed.
so annoying.
They changed Storm's hair, and it sounds like a couple of the voice actors might be the same or something. I'm not sure.
Cyclops sounded it's like the same person.
Okay.
It really is. And it's funny because I just like literally watched all those seasons because I have them on DVD. And yeah, just hearing that, and I was just like, wow.
Like I said, bro, one of the
Full
most
circle.
iconic like theme intros.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't even. I mean, perhaps shockingly, I didn't really watch this growing up, and it was like right in my time when I was growing up.
Go away.
But that's because I was watching Batman the Animated Series, Superman,
Right.
Justice League,
You
Teen
can watch
Titans.
both of them though.
But no, that's just where my interest was, which explains why I read so much more DC now than I did Marvel. But anyways, my point is, I didn't really watch that show, and that theme song is still the one I think of when I think of, like, of course, I have seen it, and it's
Yeah.
when I think of for awesomeness,
Yes.
but animated superhero cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
That's
it's
the one?
That, and then Batman the Animated Series.
Right.
yeah, that's a good
One of the
intro,
only
too.
ones I could recall off the top of my head is probably X-Men 97. Like I was doing it the other day in the room with me and Liz were just watching it. And I was going, and
I had that as a
why was
ringtone for so
I hadn't
long.
even watched the trailer. That was the first time I watched it. I was like, why am I doing that? It's just sketchy. I don't know. How.
Nostalgic
comes back to you.
nostalgic and amazing.
In your subconscious. Who's your favorite X-Men, Cole?
I go through phases. I remember when I was a little kid, I used to like Nightcrawler, and then I think I went to Beast, and then there's probably Gambit for a while, and Wolverine. So I'm kind of a mix. Bishop I remember I liked a lot
Bishop's
too, until his like Marvel Masterpiece card came out. I remember his positioning was like so weird in that card that I was like, I don't think I like this guy anymore. He's all like, I don't know. I think probably Beast has held the longest title.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gambit was mine for the longest. I just like his power.
Yeah.
Like if I had to pick a mutant power to have, it would be Gambit, to be able to charge up any object and use it.
That's random.
For defense, you know.
I guess that's cool. I would always pick Nightcrawler as a kid, just like teleportation. And that scene with I never knew I needed that team up of Wolverine's claws getting imbued with the power of Gambit, and he's like on his back. I thought that scene was dope. I'm gonna be very happy for this.
I'm excited for it.
Me too.
I am too.
Yeah.
That's gonna be great.
Is it all the episodes at once, or is it like weekly? Do you know?
I don't know, but it's only 10 episodes.
It's 10 episodes, and there's already going to be another season.
You're damn right.
Which the fact that there's 10 episodes makes it way more likely that I will actually watch all of it.
Yeah.
Because cartoons will come out and have 25 episode seasons, and I go, I don't have time to watch that.
Bad Batch came out, I think, yesterday or comes out today. First 3 episodes of the last season of that.
Okay.
I don't know where you guys are at with that.
Aren't those
I
episodes like
finished
super
it.
long too?
Those were super long.
I think they're 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
No, like episodes. Like,
Yeah.
not the length
episodic,
of
the length of the season.
That's what I'm. That's
Yeah,
what
they were like
Graffiti
22
isms.
episodes, and they're like 30, 40 minutes long, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know, dog.
I think I've
It
kind
was
of.
good. I watched like the first 5 episodes, but I just didn't have the
I liked it.
motivation.
You know, yeah.
I'm falling off the train with all of these shows and Disney Plus stuff, so I'm hoping that this will be different.
It looks awesome. It looks like a throwback to the things that like made you fall in love with such.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Agreed.
No, I think it looks
Indubitably.
great. And I'll probably get over the voice thing once you start watching 2 or 3 episodes. You probably won't think about it as much, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know.
You will.
Maybe.
All right.
He won't get over the rogue thing though.
No, well, no one should.
No
I
one
shouldn't.
should,
I shouldn't
Dad.
have brought it back up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Well, thank God Shane's not here. Shane would
I
be
know.
really
Still be talking about
upset
that.
about that.
Yeah.
Brandon in the chat, he said he's 6 to midnight over that trailer. That was he enjoyed the trailer
Fair.
Yeah.
very much so.
All
Yeah.
right.
It was a good one. It was a good one.
I don't know if I liked it that much.
Yeah.
I think just the nostalgic purposes
No,
about
I
it.
get
Right,
it.
right. And if you're any person who kind of remembers or has that kind of the way the show ended still kind of in your mind,
The
and
nostalgia?
the nostalgia, and just how it ended, like how the whole like show came to a close back in those days. It kind of hits you a little harder, I think.
Sure.
Just
Oh, the
because.
Juggernaut.
Yeah.
Maybe you've seen that. Those YouTube
From
videos.
X-Men 3?
No, the I gotta send it to you.
That sounded
I know
like you were going to do
Tracy.
the
That's the one I'm talking about. That one
from the movie?
No, we'll
No.
talk after. We
All
can't say
right.
it on live.
Okay.
Yes, that's from the movie.
I know that, but there's a thing.
Okay.
It's a whole thing.
He'll show me the thing. Wait, no, he won't.
What did he say?
Yeah, I don't know why they're worried about her thickness.
You were worried about her thickness. You brought it up.
I'm not that worried. I'm
Save
still
us.
gonna watch it.
The later the show goes, the more derailed it
We're,
gets.
we're right in that.
Go back to the script, man.
Yeah, sorry.
Come on.
Next up, Sonny the graffitist is gonna tuck some copper drop, maybe.
Talking
Talking a couple drop.
about it.
Talking about it. So our guest, I know you brought a book that you wanted to talk about. Everybody else, I think, brought maybe 2.
Right.
Paul brought like 12.
Yeah.
They're Batman and Superman for sure.
How could you tell by the way the picture right here
I
has
swear
Batman
to God,
and
I didn't
Superman
even
on?
look at it. I just knew. If you go back to the past 47 copper
Yeah.
drops, it's Nightwing maybe. Batman, Superman, but they're all great.
Yeah.
So it's okay. But sir, what did you bring?
Yeah.
He's like, Batman.
No. Actually, every once in a while, I like to do some digging. I went onto Etsy and I was like, I wonder if there's any graphic novels on Etsy. And I just randomly stumbled across this one. It's called Nord.
Look at
about a
that.
Viking king. Yeah, and the art.
Sick
I mean,
cover.
I'm just so drawn to artwork and comics and
Very cool.
And the whole book is just like this style. It's just phenomenal. And there's a huge prologue, but yeah, so it's just these huge.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And it's kind of interesting. It's the only thing is it's super short. It's just a little short story. So I probably don't want to talk too much about it.
Well, tell me what it's about.
Short, but it's basically a Viking king. There's Loki, and then there's Death, and then there's just all this killer artwork.
That's awesome.
It's done in a style. It's very thin. It's not too dense, but it's kind of got like a children's book kind of style where it's really heavy, just killer artwork. That's what got me was just the artwork. I was like, I can't believe
invokes
so much time into this.
A little bit of Ribic from Thor. Yeah.
Side Ribic,
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, it
So
looked cool.
I just picked that up, not knowing too much. It's a guy, I don't even know this guy here. His name is
Etsy.
Martin
Wow.
Simpson.
That's very cool.
And yeah,
That's a cool
I was
cop.
like, that's so much effort and passion that went into this. And so
Yeah, I was gonna say
just
I
thought
could
I'd
tell
give it a
that
shot.
I could tell that you care about like the passion of the book quality and like the
Yeah.
art and you know what I mean?
Who's the artist?
Yeah,
again?
I'm very drawn to art. I had trouble reading when I was a little kid. Probably
I have
didn't
trouble
read a
reading
book
now.
till I was like 30. Yeah. I was
Okay.
like Spy versus Spy because I had no words in it. And
Sick.
yeah, so I think even to this day,
Oh,
even
sorry.
though I read a lot more now, there's still part of me that's always goes to artwork first. So yeah, I mean that was a nice little find. I like having this book because, like I said, it's a short story, but I feel like it's going to be one of those books that I pull out and look through and read constantly, on the shelf. So yeah, I like having it. I thought it was worth sharing.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Who's the artist again?
It's Martin Simpson.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that's very cool.
That definitely looks like something you're gonna grab.
Yeah,
Add
that
to
looks
the
like
collection.
something I wanna. Yeah.
Add to the collection.
Yeah, and
Yeah, take a
I
look
just
at it.
randomly stumbled on it on Etsy. I don't know if you can get it anywhere else, but that's where I found it.
Super
Nice.
cool.
And you had another one too, or
No, that's the one he brought.
The
Oh,
other
that's
one
the
I
one.
got was the other one I got was Crackdown off your guys' recommendation,
Sure,
and
yeah.
then so I was able
Shout
to
outs
get
to
the
the
cover
boys.
on it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the David Mack cover. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they had the cover I wanted. Yeah, and then Nate at Atlantis Fantasy World also recommended that too. So you guys recommended it, and then the guy at the local comic book shop recommended it as well.
It's pretty
Nice.
good, eh?
Good pull.
Yeah.
Nice.
Paul.
All right. So Marcus and Frank and I were talking before the show. I've been like furiously trying to finish Dune before we go see it this
Oh,
week,
yeah,
as
you
in
just
like
said
reading it.
Right.
So I haven't been reading comics a lot this week, but I got off of work this afternoon, ran to the comic store, and I had like quite the pull. Like I don't usually have that much on my pull. I had like double-digit books this week.
Nice.
And they were all like books that I am like incredibly into. You asked Frank and Marcus. I kept texting the chat. I was like, actually, I'm gonna talk about this. Actually, I'm gonna talk about this. Okay, I'm gonna do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to mention the awesome cover for Bruno F. Redondo
Sick cover.
on this Nightwing. It's a really interesting dynamic between Bruce and Dick. And unlike a lot of times when Bruce deals with his surrogate children, a lot of times he's cold and crass. In this, him and Dick seem like friends, and they're getting along and they're working together. And I much prefer that
Yeah.
to the constant like Batman being a hard ass and not like being cold towards his children. Like
Right.
we've moved past that.
Yeah, get over it.
Like get over the we need to move the status quo.
Yeah.
And this does a good job of that. Of course, it's Tom Taylor who does stuff like that the best. And then the other one I wanted to touch on quickly, another awesome cover, Daniel
Yes.
Sampere.
Oh, that is a really cool cover.
Tom King, Wonder Woman. This is by far and the I can't remember her first name or the artist's first name, Ortega on the Trinity backup, also written by King. This entire series and book has been fantastic.
Yeah,
The backups are great, and the story itself is incredible.
Really cool.
And she's got to throw down with a couple of people who the enemy, the Sovereign, is in this, has set against her, and it's really freaking cool, man. And then the other
Really
two
freaking cool,
that I'm
man.
going to talk a little bit more about is the finale to Kingdom Come, Return to Kingdom Come by Dan Mora and Mark Waid. And you guys know I was looking forward to this so much. Kingdom Come is one of my favorite stories of all time. Mark Waid returning to this world. No Alex Ross, but I'll take Dan Mora as a close second. And it is as good as you could ever hope of a prequel/sequel to one of the most beloved Big Two comics ever could possibly be. It perfectly sets the time and where it's at, where our two Superman and Batman are looking in on these people. And Darkseid is terrifying. He's awesome. He tears through people. And you get to see why Magog does what he does in the beginning of Kingdom Come. You see the beginning of him. And it's actually really compelling. You see him go from a kid that wants to be like Superman to a kid who's mad at Superman but conflicted, helps Superman, and then maybe he does something that Superman is like, well, you shouldn't have done that. Yeah. It's a spiraling path. And then in the comic, he's like, you don't know what you're talking about. I did the right thing. We're all safe now, but you know what happens later and know that it did send him down a spiraling path. It was just as awesome of a conclusion to this part of Mora's and Wade's run and connecting with that as I could have possibly hoped. And then the last book I want to talk about is one that I did not love as much, but I think it's definitely something we should talk about. Batman Joker Year 1, Part 3, the final part of the weekly series for Zdarsky with Kamenukoli and Andrea Sorrentino as the artist. The Sorrentino art is fantastic. Kamenukoli, it's as good as comic art usually is. But the story leaves a little bit to be desired. I feel like they should have spread this out over more issues or more time. And the other big thing is it feels very tangential, which something
good word.
Something called Joker Year 1 should not feel that way.
Right. Should be front and center.
The way they wrap up, it's like this didn't really add in, and it's well written. Zdarsky, everything he writes is well written. The plot isn't ridiculous, and his voice is fantastic. But just the story itself, sometimes you write well, you have the right idea, but your story that you're telling just isn't as interesting as maybe you would hope it would be.
Right.
So I'm excited for it to get back again to the failsafe thing. It feels like with Zdarsky's Batman arc, it's been really good, kind of okay, really good, kind of okay. And Sorrentino draws Bruce in the it's in the future. He draws him he looks a lot like Ben Affleck, which shout out to Brendan. The first time I read it, I was like, he looks like Bale, but then upon a reread, I was like, what am I talking about?
Affleck for sure.
But it's really cool art, but a story that kind of didn't really do it for me, and I'm excited for it to get back to the one that he was telling before with
Tangential.
Tangential, yes.
Tangential.
Oh,
that's a good word. No, that's one of the better ones you've pulled out.
Thanks.
So,
but that's all I got for today.
Okay. Frank, kudos. Frank, you usually go last, so I'm going to let you go next.
We got Titans. The Beast World storyline is wrapping up. Titans number 8. It's Dan Mora cover, and this is written by Taylor. You know, there's sort of like some after effects of Gar, Beast Boy, kind of. He's still kind of dealing with everything that's happened as far as rolling out of Beast War, and Raven is starting to be a little bit corrupted by her father.
Interesting.
So we're starting to set up that next storyline, and there's a little bit of, I guess they're starting to plant the seeds of what's going to be happening going forward with a big DC event that's going to be happening later this summer. There's a event going on this June, I think, after they do Free Comic Book Day. I think it's called Absolute Power, something like that. That's going to be involving the big three. And I think this is going to be the thing that puts together the new Justice League towards the end of the year. That's what I think. And then PKJ can finally, confirm Frank's theory for a long time that he was going to take over writing Justice League.
I do have a question for you and Marcus.
True.
Maybe Sonny about that. Do you think, I want it to be PKJ, but do you think Tom Taylor finishing Nightwing is an indication that if Justice League comes back, it will be him?
I think it's possible, but I don't know if he's going to write Titans and Justice League. I don't think he's going to write 2 team books.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened.
Love PKJ.
And the other one I got is Cobra Commander number 2.
Oh, cool cover.
This is a little slightly less horror and creepy as opposed to the first issue of this limited series. Cobra Commander is just kind of like rocking his whole Carmen Sandiego look, kind of wandering through a Florida swamp. He meets up with the Dreadnoks, kind of goes head to head with a couple of them. They're torturing some people. The thing he's looking for, he thinks they have. He doesn't find it. And some other stuff happens as a result of that. And I've really just enjoyed that whole Energon universe. The Cobra Commander, the Dukes limited series, Transformers, and Void Rivals. It's been really good. I don't know if you read any of that stuff, Cole, but that whole Void Rivals stuff, it's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's good.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, it's the.
No, look, I like the cover too. That Cobra Commander.
Yeah, that cover's
Kind of like the Legion of Doom. Was that Legion of Doom? The Hall of Doom thing coming out of the swamp. It's kind of like it looks kind of like that.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Marcus, what do you have?
All right, so we're at issue 2 now, as of this week, of The Ultimate Spider-Man with Jonathan Hickman and Marco Cicchetto, building this story up. And for those who don't know, issue 1, you're faced with the Maker, who's the evil, corrupt version of Reed Richards in this universe. He's pretty much eliminated through his multiversal manipulation. Basically, there's no superheroes existing in this universe, but somehow Tony Stark was able to kind of break through and pass on a Spider-Man suit to the Peter Parker of this universe, who was not. And then all of a sudden, Peter Parker is starting to feel like some of these loose memories, like, yeah, this seems right. I feel like I should be doing this. So he's kind of breaking through little by little as the story builds, and you see that. You have Wilson Fisk, who's taken over the Daily Bugle. Oh. And so he's pretty much corrupting the media. Yeah. And you find that there's actually inside, there's stories that are circulating in the rumor mill that there's been attempts on Wilson Fisk's life as he took over the paper and pushed J. Jonah Jameson and Ben Parker out of the Daily Bugle, who they work at the Daily Bugle. And it's starting to build and slowly, and then you would really love this. You would really love this because it's he is pretty much gallivanting about in the black suit.
Oh, sick!
Yes, and he's starting to feel like he's starting to run into all these, these enemies that are kind of, expected to run into.
First page I turned into.
First page, he's like, bank robbers and things like that, and he's still trying to figure it out. But he has some of that, that Peter Parker humor, like, hey, I think I should be kind of stopping you from doing this, but I'm not sure,
Shout out to the T-shirt and the first page. He's rolling around the black
Cicchetto's dope. That's Cicchetto, right?
Yeah, it's great. And so we're starting to build up, and then there's this green goblin thing flying around. Yeah,
on the cover,
stuff.
he looks like Iron Man. It's kind of crazy.
So it's the story slowly building, and it's been phenomenal so far. He's already kind of made some key mistakes that only Peter Parker would make, like his daughter has already discovered who he is. so it's like, okay, it's our little secret, little one, I'll get you some ice cream. Don't tell anyone that the big scary guy in the newspaper is actually me in costume.
Well, in this suit, he's not rocking the spider on his chest.
Right. And so
is that part of the story?
There's some tender moments in there between him and his daughter, and she's like, yeah, I still don't like the suit. You're scary in that suit.
I really like the green. Almost said Green Lantern, Green Goblin design on the front. Like that's very cool and techno type.
Right.
Beat.
I like that. Techno type beat.
Yeah. So the stakes are gradually building. It's actually a phenomenal read. It usually kind of like this episode. This issue starts off
Next
with
time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, it starts off with J. Jonah Jameson and Ben Parker just kind of talking in the sauna because they kind of walked off of their job, and so they're trying to restart their own thing, nice. Independent kind of news thing.
Oh, interesting.
And they're like, yeah, it's funny that all this stuff is going on with Fisk internally with the building, and no one's hearing about it, but yet we're still seeing on the front page this dude in a black suit like running around.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they haven't put 2 and 2 together yet. So that's going to be interesting. And then my second book is Predator: The Last Hunt. So this is the latest miniseries
Sick.
with Ed Brisson still continuing the writing reins on the Predator. And what's been great about the Predator series since Brisson took over is with each issue and with each miniseries that starts, there's a brief like chronological kind of breakdown of where we're at story wise from even like the movie world. So like
cool.
From the movie world all the way up to even like the last series that ended with our main protagonist, our main female protagonist. She was able to finally track down the predator that killed her family, a member of her family, and now there appears to be a new predator who's even more knowledgeable.
This one looks crazy.
Yeah,
like this one on this cover looks insane.
Yeah, he's more supercharged, and it's almost like he's taken the knowledge from all the other failures of the other predators that came before him, and now is learning to be even more of a formidable adversary for her and the surviving crew members that she led to survival in the last series. So it's just continuing along that timeline. It is super cool. It's called The Last Hunt because who knows, it might be her last hunt.
Ooh.
They've already kind of teased a little bit in the second cover at the end. There's a little splash page of the cover for issue 2 that might be a spoiler, might not be. We'll see.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's a
And
cop
then,
for sure.
of course, our guest book too, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Savior. That
yeah.
before I even got to the singles, I was reading Savior and I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is just what I need right now.
Luckily, I got to it because Frank gave me the copy of Savior the week before, so I got through it before my furious mad dash to get through Dune and all of my I have literally read probably 400 pages of that 600-page novel in like 4 days. I have been going crazy, but luckily I got Savior last week and was able to read it before I was like, oh crap, I need to, because I had read like 30 pages like a week ago and I was like, oh, that movie comes out, I want to finish it before.
Yeah.
But so I got that beforehand. I was able to finish it while I didn't feel like I needed to fly through it, and it was just as good as anything else I've been reading.
Right.
And the art is fantastic.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, everybody brought good stuff except for Paul. I'm just I love you.
You want to tag on it?
Oh,
am I never gonna live that down now?
No.
Jeez, man.
I'll bring
it's
artwork.
artwork.
I'll bring a backpack in next week for you.
Yeah, bro. I can't do it anymore. I used to be really good. I'm bad.
Yeah, tag his backpack.
No shade to anyone who tags except Sonny.
Just Sunny. Cole, what's going on next for you as far as like conventions and stuff? Or you're doing like WonderCon is the end of March. Do you have any shows or anything going on?
I did apply to WonderCon. I'm on the wait list for that.
Nice.
Oh wow.
I don't have anything in the books right now. The one I have a few applications in. The one I'm looking forward to is it GalaxyCon? They're bringing that to San Jose because it used to be the Silicon Valley Comic Con, and then it was Silicon with Adam Savage, the guy from MythBusters.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And that's in my backyard, but I guess it didn't survive COVID, so it's been gone for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I, the teaser that you were showing earlier, this first chapter I gave out, that's where I gave out tons of them. So I'd love to go back there with the actual book, and follow up on that because and then it's right in my backyard, so that's always nice. Kind of viewing the whole con a little differently because I'm still kind of new to it, and so I've done more research to find more cons. And kind of what we liked about that Portland, it was just nice. It was we made a trip out of it, me and the wife. So we're trying to go to places that we want to visit. So she wants to go to Seattle. So next time Emerald Con comes around, sign up for that one. We want to go to Las Vegas. So I got that on the radar. I love Las Vegas. I love playing cards. And then, we like seeing the shows and stuff.
And coming on our show, actually.
Come hang out.
Come on our show.
Yeah, you come in live.
For sure. Yeah. I'll definitely swing by and say hi. But yeah, so I'm kind of trying to plan it so it's kind of a little outing for us because that Portland one was really fun. I went up there. She likes visiting mausoleums, and they have a huge, massive one there. It was like 7 stories. So we went there, and then I showed her where I used to live. I took her to like I went to school up there.
Nice.
and showed her around. My cousin lives up there. So it was kind of fun. We just, made a trip out of it. And yeah, it's kind of weird because a lot of people always ask like, oh, how'd you do, and so I had in my game plan, I guess this is why I'm saying I'm kind of switching my train of thought on things, is that it was like, oh, this is where you're supposed to go and make all your money. This is where it really cashes in. But what I'm learning slowly after doing a few of them is that no, it's where you meet people and network. Like I met Frank there, and I was always kind of bummed when people asked me to sign a book, or not bummed, but I'm like, oh, well, that, I might miss a sell if I do that. But now I'm like, oh, I want to sign your book and spend time with you. And I realize it's more of like, if I make it more of a trip and just go there to have fun, then, and I just have a better attitude about the whole situation and meeting people and being a better like representative. But yeah, it's just weird because like a lot of people always do at the cons always go, oh, how you do? So I'm like, oh shoot, well, I guess it's like a competition to make money or something like that. But
it's not about that.
It's yeah. So and I don't know if that's just artist mentality or it's just a nice common question, but somehow that got in my thought of like, oh, this is where you're supposed to rake in the majority of the dough. But I don't feel that way anymore. Now it's like, let's go to a place, hopefully we'll break even. Let's have fun.
Right. What I found at these cons, what a lot of people will do, a lot of artists and writers will do, is they'll have like, they're either their significant other or they'll have someone, a volunteer that comes along with them that deals with that part of it, the money part, it's this, selling the books or selling the merchandise. That way you can frees up you to go ahead and, connect and talk to your fans and, sign books and
networking.
Whatnot. Yeah. Network, you might want to, rush off real quick and maybe meet someone yourself that you're a fan of and, get something signed or take a picture or whatever, so that I think, go in with the mindset of just having a good time and meeting people. And then the money kind of will follow.
Come into place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I've also I've also had bad history too, because I used to work for California Roots, which is a music festival. They do an awesome job. Great people. I loved working with them. The guy who puts on the show, Dan, is just an awesome dude. Mm-hmm. And I had a booth there, but like in a music festival, a lot of drinking, some drugs. So you also get people that talk to you and then won't leave. So I think I'm kind of scarred from that a little bit, or like there's a guy like, he's all, you should just do tattoos. And he said that for like, it felt like it was an hour straight, like just sitting there. You should do tattoos. You should do tattoos.
That was me. Cool, that was me. Like, you just don't recognize me. That was me.
That's great.
So I think I have a little bit of that too, where it's like, okay, I don't know if I want to greet someone because I'm like, can I get them to go away? But actually, everyone at a con's pretty respectful, and they they want to meet you and talk, but they're not like,
inconsiderate.
Yeah, inconsiderate or just blacked out or whatever that guy was.
I had a lot of cheerleaders.
He just really wanted you to do tattoos.
Yeah, I think it came across as like
Sonny really wants to
the whole experience. Like Rose City was awesome. It was a great experience. It was like it was like probably like my son and I have gone to San Diego Comic-Con, and it's like, it's cool, like it's a thing, like a bucket list thing for you to go to,
right?
But it is so congested.
Yeah, like
you can't do anything.
Can't have fun.
It's it's an experience, but I mean, the way they had it set up, though, I don't know, Cole, if you had the same experience, but it seemed like it flowed pretty well as far as where they had all of the creators, like kind of everybody was grouped, kind of together, and then you had people that were selling books, and then you had the different cosplayers, like kind of people selling like mystery boxes of all kinds of stuff there. So I mean, you get a little bit of everything now at these conventions, and it's a larger format sort of convention. When we get news about the Las Vegas Comic-Con, we'll let you know as soon as we know something.
Please do. I'm really looking forward to doing that
man.
one.
Just even if you want to just come out and hang out here for a few days, we'll keep you busy. Yeah, we have plenty of stuff for you to do out here. But there was supposed to be the first weekend in May, so it never really materialized.
Oh,
right.
Because the company that does it, they also do a convention in Hawaii, I think, and they're doing
you were mentioning that to me.
November or something like that, and they moved that date, and it's like 8 months from now, and they haven't announced the date for here. Yeah, so it's kind of strange. So I don't know what's happening with the convention, but as soon as
go to Hawaii,
we could.
You go to
We
Hawaii.
good.
You want to go to Hawaii, Cole?
That would be
Yeah,
sick.
that was our last trip. Is we actually were there just before the fires.
Oh, no way.
Oh, wow.
That bring up that, but yeah, we were actually there days before, which was kind of shocking because we got home and then the friends we went with, they're like, check out the news. So it was like a week after we were there. Yeah, we squeezed it in. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I guess we got lucky, but the whole situation's unfortunate.
Man.
We were hanging out with that
just there
tree,
a
like,
month ago.
you know, a week before all that happened. So, but yeah, Hawaii's always fun. Yeah, I'll take any excuse to go to Hawaii.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
It's fine. I know it's not Disneyland.
I'd go to Comic-Con.
It's more expensive
in
if you
Hawaii.
could believe it.
Yeah, I would do it. I would go with you, Frank.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Absolutely.
you guys can sit next to each other on a 6-hour flight. Touch each other's t-shirts.
Wow. All right.
Okay.
But I was gonna say too, I also kind of stay busy. I'll do a gallery show because I like to do fine art as well. So I have a gallery show lined up, and then I do starting to do local events. I kind of haven't been out since I was working on the comic. I used to do a lot of local events and local art shows, and then I kind of dropped everything because I really wanted to focus on the comic. So I'm starting to get back into that, kind of showing my face more. I think I kind of disappeared from a lot of people. They're probably wondering where I am or if I'm even alive. So it's going to be nice to get back out and get some sunshine. And yeah.
That's really cool. I'm going to do First Friday out here.
Oh yeah, that's kind of. I'm sure you would love that if you were here. We do the first Friday of the month in the art district down here. It's like, but everyone sets up a bunch of booths and they all have their own art, and it's very, very cool.
Yeah.
And it's every first Friday of the month here, and I think you would fit in perfectly well there, especially with how awesome all your stuff is. Yeah, that would be cool to have. I know not really a thing that could happen, but it would be very cool.
No promises, but I'm sure there's going to be a dude that's drunk going to run up on you and ask you for tattoos.
I was just thinking that. There'd probably be someone.
Tattoo this on my face right
You
now.
gotta do a tattoo.
You should do a tattoo.
Get the little temp tattoo stickers.
Put the banana on my
made.
chin.
Oh, yeah, temporary tattoos.
For
That'd
the,
be
for
cool.
the kids.
That's actually a great idea.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Especially for the kids. The kids would love them. Yeah.
I want one.
Speaking of kids, there was a violent trailer that dropped earlier today for
that wasn't as good as the last one.
Wasn't?
That wasn't as good as the last one.
Shout out Dre.
Kids love violence.
Yes.
Is that better?
True.
Sure.
All right. There is a trailer that dropped earlier today. It's called what is it called? Boy Kills Everyone. Boy Kills World.
Boy Kills World.
Boy Kills World.
Boy Meets World?
Not Boy Meets
Boy
World.
Meets World. No, it's Boy Kills World, starring.
Same cast,
Yep.
Was his
Cast.
Skarsgård, right? He's the right.
Yeah. Skarsgård.
Is Mr.
Is it Bill?
McGeaney? Is that his name? Magoo?
Mr. Magoo. Anyway, we're taking the trailer out. What? New trailer for Mr. Magoo.
This was never a great city, but it was ours.
Are you with me? Always.
Until Hilda Vanderkoy took it from us. This is how she keeps control.
Is it Bob
call
Belcher?
it
Archer?
the calling.
It sounds like Archer.
It's
They're
both.
all gonna watch and cheer
Bob Burger, yeah.
as you die.
That's me, facing televised execution by breakfast cereal mascots.
It is, huh?
Not
definitely-
my happiest day.
100%.
100%.
But let me take you back to an even worse one. The day the Vanderkoys killed my family and left me deaf and mute.
Oh my god.
So, I made a 3-step plan. Step 1, give myself an inner voice. I took the last one I remembered from this video game. Player 1 wins! Step 2, get stronger. A lot stronger. And step 3, join a team.
Welcome to the Resistance!
Yeah, go team. The mission is simple. Make the Vanderkoys pay for what they have done. Insert crazy action montage.
You fall in
Sam Raimi. Okay.
Here comes the hopper.
know how hard it is to get a serial company to sponsor mass murder?
Wow. You ring the bell.
Kitchen scenes are always fun.
Mr. Feeney.
I don't like this plan.
You have reached your final destination.
Oh my God, no! I have information. I'm gonna help you. Stop!
That looks like a ton of fun.
Probably wasn't going to help us.
Definitely sounded like he was gonna help us.
Wow, that looks like a good time.
That looks like fun.
That looks like a good
That
time.
looks like-
I feel like we need to pregame it a little bit, you know,
duh.
and then like, yeah,
It's gonna happen.
that's good. Yeah,
I'll drink a Pepsi.
There you go.
We knew that.
Cole, what'd you think about that?
Nice. Yeah. No, that's my cup of tea right there. Yeah. It kind of reminded me. I was getting Kung Fury vibes, or is that what it's called? Kung Fury. Fury?
Ooh,
Kung
yeah,
Fury?
Kung
Yeah.
Fury, yes.
okay.
Kung
Yeah.
Fury. There you go. I said furry at first. It threw me off. Kung Fury. Kung Fury. Fury.
Kung Fury. Fury, right? Is
Kung
it?
Fury.
Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick
You're
Fury.
lucky you're the guest.
No, you guys can make fun of me. It's all right. I mean, my name's Chump Magic for crying out loud. Yeah.
I feel like a lot of movies are borrowing from like the John Wick, just the ultra violent stuff, which of course I'm a fan of.
Right.
But
dude.
the before we heard like a couple lines and we're like, is that the Bob's Burger guy? Is that Archer?
Archer, yeah. I don't know the voice actor's name, but it has to be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
him.
definitely sounds like him.
It's
I
funny.
like him a lot,
you can
yeah.
tell you can tell who watches what. Me and Sonny were like Archer, and he's like Bob's Burger.
Actually, no. It's funny story. I was watching Archer the first season, and when Bob's Burgers started, I couldn't go back and watch Archer.
Oh,
because it was too funny.
I was like,
or not funny, but
they're because they're just like completely different characters. And I was like, I can only watch this now. So I just watch Bob's Burgers. I don't watch Archer anymore.
could you imagine if they swapped? But
Yeah,
Archer
you watch Bob's
They
Burgers
did.
first.
There's
Oh.
an episode of Archer going, and he's
No, really?
yeah he loses his memory. He ends up in a kitchen, and it's the Bob's Burgers kitchen.
Oh, bro.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not, bro. Google
Swear
it.
to God.
I'm not. To the mushroom god, I believe. No, I'm just kidding.
Put in the mushroom god.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm like
I'm not gonna Google it
99.8%.
right now.
The mushroom god under the underpass.
Saint
That's kinda
Toadstool. What's going on?
Saint Toadstool.
Are they even? Because Archer was FX, which is Fox, right?
Right.
Yeah, so
Fox.
it was Bob's.
And then-
Blast Off.
Archer
Oh.
Bob's Burger episode.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Or did you
Relax.
did you Siri it? What did you
I
do?
swear to mushrooms.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
amazing.
Video
That's incredible.
image evidence right there.
All right.
That's
well,
good stuff.
Cole,
I
we
know
know
that.
we're gonna go watch cartoons tonight.
I had a beautiful idea.
Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us. We appreciate it. How do they find you in the social media world?
Yeah, so at Chump Magic on Instagram, a website, www.chumpmagic. That's where you can find the book too, as well, Savior. I mostly do Instagram, but I'm also on Facebook as well. Just Chump Magic across the board, / Chump Magic. And then I also use Hive, which is they try to be like an old Instagram, but that really hasn't picked up too much. But I still like using it, hoping that because it doesn't follow the algorithm. So I'm hoping one day that kind of picks up. So I still use post on there and try to be active just to be supportive. But
Right
yeah,
on.
just Chump Magic, and you can usually find me. It's kind of a unique name. That's one of the reasons why I stuck with it.
That's right.
I like it.
Sonny, what's going on with you?
I'm just here, man. Just tagging on stuff.
Just tagging on stuff. Why does it not look that much different?
What did he say?
What? Why would you even say that? Oh wait,
The skin tone is pretty similar.
Why would you even say that? I don't. It's not even a thing.
Doesn't he talk like this, kind of?
That's you. When your voice cracks
That's true.
in the middle of the episode.
like it.
I like it.
What do you say? Freaking awesome, dude.
I don't know.
All right. Well,
Marcus, what's going on with you?
Oh man. Well, first, hey, thanks for joining us, Cole. We appreciate you. And yeah, you guys need to check out his website. It's awesome. Go pick up this book. It's a great read. It's fun. it's it's just a lot of
Checks all the boxes.
It does. It checks all the boxes
I love
for
when
me.
the boxes are checked.
Oh yeah, and then some local news: Silver State Toys, Comics, and Sports Expo is happening March 16th and 17th at the World Market Center here in Las Vegas. So check that out if you are looking for some. This is yet another.
Let them see that flyer.
We're literally like. There's just tons upon tons of like cons that are just popping up in shows, little small things and even major ones in the Las Vegas area. So if you some
local news.
Yeah, exactly.
The Silver State Toy Comics and Sports Expo. Tickets on sale now. March 16th and 17th, 2024. But join us next week on Into the West Comics.
That was incredible.
That was amazing. I couldn't have done it better. Yeah,
Paul,
so appreciate you.
Paul, if you're going to do the news, I don't know, but how do you? How are they going to find us under the underpass?
How are you going to find us under the underpass? Well, you can find us under the underpass at Into the West Comics on TikTok and Instagram, at Into_Comics on Twitter, and at Into the West Comics on anywhere you listen to podcasts. We had an issue where they weren't uploading. I went in and fixed that. They're all there. The last like 6 episodes, you can go and listen if that's where. I know there's a few people who can only catch the end of shows and they like to get it like that. I do my best to cut out most of the intro songs so you don't have to skip through the whole minute and 30 seconds at the beginning of the audio podcast.
So nice.
And also thank you to Dre, who's if you have seen any clips up of our stuff recently on Instagram or TikTok or the any videos of us at comic stores. That's all thanks to Dre over there, and then us at the show. Thanks to Quan making this happen and being available for us every Thursday. And tangentially, thanks to Frank and Marcus and Sonny. And a huge thank you to Cole again. Savior was awesome. The quality is
unmatched.
It's
Appreciate
unmatched.
you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, this has been fun. You guys are always a good time. I enjoy watching the show, and it's
Appreciate that.
And
huge pleasure to be on here. I'm honored. Yeah.
Thanks, brother.
Do you still have some of those samplers where it's just the first chapter? Do you still have?
Yeah,
some of
I
those?
do. I'm getting kind of low, but it's kind of like one of those things that are spread out through all. Like I have random piles, so I keep thinking I'm out, and then I'll find like another little pile in some weird little corner, under some boxes. So I know I have at least.
I do.
Yeah.
Marcus
Well,
wants
you
one.
need me to send you a few, or
Yeah, you can send me a few. I'll pass them out definitely. If you send
cool.
me as many as you want,
Yeah,
we'll pass them out. We all will.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I always have the stickers too. Those are
Oh,
like
yeah.
the little
Send
sticker
me
sticker.
as many of those as you want, brother.
Gabagoo.
Gabagool.
Yeah, so I have tons of the Savior stickers. Because those are like nice little promo things that I did to set up.
Absolutely.
Before the book, and then I just ordered a whole bunch just so I'd have them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sonny's correct. I definitely want one of the samplers for myself. But then, if you send me more, I will definitely hand them out and start networking out here for you.
Cool. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I
Absolutely.
am set up for wholesale to do. I don't have distribution, but I am set up. But the thing is because I kind of try to keep the cost down as low as possible.
Yes.
I ask that people order $3 at a time. So I think for a lot of people that aren't familiar, because I'm new to comics, this is my first comic. They're like, well, why do I have to order 3? So that's kind of been a hurdle that I need to get past. But at the same time, it's like, well, I want it to be, $25 and in stores, get the best price. Your local comic book store helps me out, helps them out. And so,
Beautiful.
yeah, so I can only do that by selling 3. If I do lower than that, just one, I lose on shipping. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. Understandable.
Well, it's a fun read, and we do thank you for hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate it. You hanging out. It means a lot to us for hanging out tonight.
You being so sincere.
Thank you.
I think he's a good guy.
Yeah.
And we've been talking for 6 months.
I don't think Frank's ever said that sincerely about somebody.
He's a nice guy.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
He's a
We'll
great
take
guy.
it.
Brother. Real quick news and notes. You don't have to play the news thing. Dune 2 early reactions are positive. Avengers Kang Dynasty is getting a new title. Might be a Secret Wars 1 or 2. Part 1 and then part 2
possibly
a year later. Concept art from animators of the Spider-Verse movie released a look at a Batman Beyond film, possibly.
Looks so
they
good.
had rumored at the time that Chris Pratt was going to do the voice.
I don't like that.
I don't know if I like that.
No, I think he fits Terry McGinnis.
There is a release date for the first Star Wars plus show of the year. Acolyte will be streaming on the
I'm
Plus,
so excited for
June
that.
the 5th.
I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, he's excited.
I can't wait.
It's gonna be so
But
good.
again, Cole, thank you for
Mr.
putting
Hanky.
up with us, and would love
Mickey
the book,
Mouse
man.
is out of the public domain.
We
the
appreciate you.
original.
Thank you for taking time to hang out with us.
Or is in the public
Oh
domain.
yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, always great to be on here. Yeah, I mean, you guys are wonderful. I always have such a fun time.
Right on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, sorry.
Now, Sonny, what time is it?
Pizza time.
Pizza time in America. It's pizza time in America. If you guys haven't done so already, please consider subscribing. We would appreciate it. Share it with a friend. Share it with an enemy. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great evening, everybody.
See y'all next week.
And yep, stay tangential.
Tangential.
I'm Sonny.
Oh, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good evening, everyone. Love you. Love you all.
Wow, I hate you so much. More than normal.
I had a good time.
I hate you.